Time for Ask the Expert. Brenda Hollingsworth is here, personal injury lawyer, to accept your calls and your questions today. If you have a question, 613-789-6559, extension 2803 is the telephone number. You can also email us questions at ottawa.morning@ctv.ca. Facebook questions also accepted on this segment of the show. Welcome, Brenda Hollingsworth, back to the program. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you?
Very good, very good. We're going to talk about one of the most important decisions you can make, and I'm sure one of the questions you get more often than any other is, how do I find the lawyer I need for my situation?
Yeah, that's a pretty common question, and if you're not asking that question after an accident, you should be.
Right.
Because it's not a one-size-fits-all, any lawyer can do this. That's just not the reality.
Right.
So you have to choose quite carefully, and you have to choose someone who really suits you, because it's a long relationship.
Right.
As I tell people, we're going to be together for a long time.
For months and possibly years.
Oh, not possibly years. Years.
Always years?
Always years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you represent victims only, is that correct?
That's right, yeah. In our practice, we represent plaintiff side, so the people who've been injured and who are generally not at fault for the accident.
That's the description?
Yes.
Right, the definition?
Yep.
Of who the client that you would look after?
Yeah, so the not at fault person, the only exception is if you have someone who's catastrophically injured in a car accident,
right,
and they want help dealing with their accident benefits.
What does catastrophically mean in this sense?
Well, there's a legal definition, but what you might think of is quadriplegic, paraplegic, blind,
so severely
amputated,
injured.
Severely injured. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So sometimes
and
we help
those are the people you represent?
Yeah, for the accident benefits only, you have to be catastrophic. For other cases where you're not at fault, we represent lots of people with less serious accidents than that. Fractures, very common.
Yeah. By the way,
Injuries.
people, you should know that if you want to ask a question about a certain situation you're in, and feel free to do that. It doesn't have to do everything to do with selecting a lawyer today. So any question within the realm of personal injury is welcome here on the program. How do I know if you're the lawyer for me? Well,
a face-to-face meeting is best. We always welcome people to come in and meet with us, and we encourage people to meet with more than one lawyer because, you know, it is a personality fit.
Lawyer shopping is not a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing. It's appreciated if you're upfront about it. But even if even if you don't feel comfortable, absolutely. I mean, I would lawyer shop. If I were going to hire someone to do something.
So what you would suggest is that if I go to you first, let's say,
yeah, and
I would say to you, have a meeting with you, discuss my case, whatever that might be, and tell you right away that, listen, I'm going to talk to other people, right? It's not you, it's me.
Yeah, that's right, that's
Something
right. Yeah,
along those lines.
That, I would say about half the people I meet with do that, and maybe more do it and don't tell me, and there's no problem with that.
Right.
I want you to be happy.
Should I come into your office, if you're the first lawyer I talk to, should I come into your office and give details of the case?
There's no problem with doing that. The initial consultation is covered by solicitor-client privilege, even if you don't hire that lawyer.
Right.
So really, you want to be as upfront as possible.
Right.
And
because if you don't have information on the case, there's not much you can do to determine if, in fact, you want to represent this person and take the case on.
Well, that's right. So I need as much information as I can.
Yeah.
And the one thing you have to watch is in the initial client interview, most of the time, a lawyer shouldn't be telling you how much money they're going to be able to get you. Because if you don't have the medical
That's something
records,
you work out over time.
That's right.
With
and
information.
That's right. But sometimes some lawyers do that.
Really?
And, you know, and clients
to
want
attract
that.
the customer?
Because I know I know you want that information, and I would love to give you that information, but it's just not responsible.
That's the question on every client's mind.
How much?
Right.
Yeah, and I understand.
Yeah, that's totally understandable.
Because that's the whole point. The whole point is...
Otherwise, why would you go through the process?
That's right. The point is to get money.
What's the first question I should ask you then?
How much of your practice is committed to personal injury? You really want someone who focuses on personal injury work.
I know there's a lot of questions here on your website, and the one that strikes me, and this often bothers me, is question 10. If I hire you to handle my case, will you, Brenda, handle it personally, or will it be sent down the chain?
Right, and that is a good question. And in our case, you know, my name's on the file, you will meet with me, and I am responsible. That doesn't mean that I write every single letter requesting every document on your file.
Junior lawyers may help you with the case?
Absolutely. So you can have a laddered approach where there's a team. In our office, we have a paralegal, a junior lawyer, and me.
All necessary?
All necessary, and it makes your file go smoother, go faster. It means we can turn over all of the stones. But the buck stops with me, and the legal advice comes from me.
You're my point person.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I mean, you may want to ask, you know, what date is my discovery, and my paralegal can certainly answer that question. But when it comes time to figuring out how much the case is worth and the negotiations, you want the lawyer you hire to be the person doing that.
Well, I mean, a lot of people can, you know, be the side dishes, but you're the main meal, right? When it comes down to it.
I mean, my team does very valuable work,
Yeah.
and it all goes into the pot.
It's all part of the process.
That's right. But in terms of the negotiating, you want to make sure that the lawyer you hire is the one who is actually working out the deal at the end,
Yeah.
or going to be taking the case to
So
trial.
you get to give the client the good news. Then.
That's it.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break, but listen, plenty of opportunity for you to ask questions. Maybe you want to know, you know, other questions that you should ask when lawyer shopping, for lack of better terms. Give us a call, 613-789-6559, extension 2803. We're talking with Brenda Hollingsworth, personal injury lawyer. There's how you get in touch with Brenda and her team. AskBrenda.ca is the website. There's the phone number. There's the email. Get on the line, ask questions here on Ask the Expert. We'll be right back.